everyone, thanks for watching. I'm here today using some of the products that are part of Nancy's new release on Spellbinders. Nancy has released some products with Spellbinders, and I'm going to be using the Nailed It hot foil plate pictured here, as well as several sentiments from the A Cut Above the Rest sentiment set stamps, and it also comes with dies from Spellbinders. Pictured here, you can see all the sentiments and the 3 cutting dies that come with the set. Let's get started. I'm going to be using a variety of foils from Spellbinders, as well as some pattern papers that I had in my stash that are mostly wood grain. All the foils that I'm using are from Spellbinders. I will have linked below in my description box all the foils and all the products that I use today. And if you're new to my channel, I just want to say welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. I'd love it if you would become a subscriber. If you're a person who's already subscribed, thanks so much. Glad that you're back. And if you could give this video a thumbs up, that would be greatly appreciated. And as you see here, I have the Glimmer hot foil system, and I'm going to be hot foiling the Nailed It Glimmer plate with this polished brass foil from Spellbinders. I'm going to first foil it on one side and then foil it on the other side, thus creating 2 columns on one card front. You'll see what I mean here as I go through the steps. I do put a piece of paper over top, and really that's more for me so that by the way, I just pressed the button. You see the light flashing. That's a timer. That's a 60-second timer. The piece of paper that I put on top is not because it needs a shim, because it definitely doesn't. But because that foil is so slick, sometimes when I grab my Glimmer plate out, I have a tendency to shift it a little bit. I've found that just having that one piece of paper on top helps it to grip better. I don't know. That's just something that I found for me. And I'm going to run this through my Spellbinders Platinum machine. Okay, and I'm going to run it back through again so I get a nice impression. And then I want to line it up on the other side. And so I'm going to use the hinge method. You can see what it looks like on the right side of my paper. Now I'm going to line up my plate on the left side of my paper. I'm going to use some of the Best Craft tape ever from Spellbinders to make a flap or hinge. Now that's the yellow tape. You see I have a piece of yellow tape on the top of my foil plate. Now I'm going to flip that up just like a hinge. I'm going to lay my foil, this is my hot foil, on in between the paper and the foil plate. Remember when you're doing this that you want the pretty side, the shiny side, the pretty side with the foil to be facing the hot foil plate. I'm going to trim off the extra foil. I wasn't sure exactly what size I would need. I probably could have trimmed this down before I did this step. All right, I'm just getting everything lined up here. And I'm going to use another piece of tape. Just another piece here, just to keep everything from coming away from where I need it to be. I just don't want it to slide away. All right, I'm going to trim a little bit more of this foil, this excess. And I just rip it off. Okay. Once I have that completed, now I can take my plate and put it onto the Glimmer base. Adhere it into the Glimmer base. It just connects, and now we have it. And now we're going to let that heat up. While that's heating up, I'll go ahead and cut my next piece of foil. This is copper hot foil from Spellbinders. And I have a piece of pattern paper from my stash that's wood grain. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and run the Glimmer plate through my Platinum 6. And we'll see how this turned out. When you're rolling it through your machine, you want to go slowly. And you can use other die cut machines if you don't have a Platinum 6. But the Platinum 6 comes in different colors now. You can get it black if you order it through scrapbook.com. There's the white one from Spellbinders. Mine's sort of an old-fashioned one. One of the original ones, probably. And then I have the full-size Platinum, which is large. And I didn't need that for this job, so I just used my smaller Platinum 6. That turned out quite nice. A little bit of underfoiling on the one column, but I'm fine with how this turned out. And let's move on to the next color, which is copper hot foil from Spellbinders. I'll take that hot foil and I will lay it on top of my plate with the pretty side down. Then take my paper, lay it on top. Put a piece of white paper on top so it's not so slippery. Okay, I'm just going to let this timer tell me when it's time, and I'll move it over to my Platinum 6. That plate was pretty hot, so I did take it out before the 60 seconds was up, but it's not going to be a problem because this is a real smooth paper. It's real shiny, and I know that the hot foil is really going to stick very well to this paper. The other paper that I used in my first panel wasn't a real slick paper. It was more porous. Now this paper must be laser printed because my shim, for lack of a better word, is covered in the same pattern as the paper, which is no big deal. I just throw it away. Just be careful your papers. You just, like, I didn't realize that was a laser printed paper. I wasn't thinking. All right, so you can see there's a lot of overfoiling on this. What I'm going to do is take some of this best craft tape ever from Spellbinders. I'm just going to use that to pick up the extra overfoiling areas. And this is basically just picking up the excess foiling. And it works really well. You could use an eraser too, but this is a slick paper. And I wasn't sure how well a eraser would work. I was afraid it would. Plus, there's a lot that I have to fix, for lack of a better word. So the tape actually works better for me. And it still keeps all that nice foil on the pattern paper. I'm only taking up the excess, sort of what's in the margins. And probably because this is a laser printed paper, it really wanted to stick. But I like how this turned out. And that's copper foil. I'm using my foiling friend. This is something that Not Afraid of Color has available in her Etsy shop, which I'll link it below. Just helps to keep your project straight, helps you keep in mind where your boundaries are for your A2 card size. It's definitely a great tool. Okay, I'm still using copper Glimmer hot foil from Spellbinders. Okay, let's go ahead and lay that pretty side down. Then I have just a piece of white cardstock. My plate was really hot, so I'm just going to run that right on through. In other words, I'm not letting it sit there for 60 seconds. I was afraid of overfoiling. All right, we'll let this cool a bit. Now I have another piece of pattern paper, and the color foil that I'm going to use next is blush, and you can see that turned out perfect, that copper. By the way, I did speed my video up at this point. I'm pretty much doing the same steps over and over again, but I'm using different colors of foil. Now this pattern paper is a light pink, so I thought the rose gold would look really nice matched with that. Not rose gold, but blush. It reminds you of a rose gold. And after I'm done, I put my plate back in my Glimmer machine so that it can get nice and warm for the next batch, the next one that I do. That turned out really nice. A little bit of overfoiling. I'll just grab that tape. It looks really nice on that paper. So I definitely would recommend, if you have a light pink paper, no matter what the pattern is, if it's not too busy, it would look really nice with blush hot foil. All right, so there was a little bit of underfoiling on that one saw blade, the saw blade. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat again using the blush hot foil. I had 2 pieces of this light pink pattern paper in my stash. So I can do it again. Now this time the hot foil plate is really hot. So I just transfer everything over to my Platinum 6. I line it all up together and then I run it through. Instead of lining it up on the base and then moving it over to the platinum, I just did everything on the base of the platinum. And this turned out perfect. Perfect foiling. Looks beautiful. This one is one of my favorite cards that I made out of this batch of 13 cards. Now for the section that was underfoiled, I have a Zig 2-way glue pen. I'm just going to put some glue on this, let it dry, and then take some of the foil and adhere it to this section that was kind of underfoiled. I'll do that later because I really need that to dry first. All right, now I've got this real pretty silver foil. It's a 4-pack that you can purchase off of Spellbinders. It's got teal, pink, and 2 colors of silver. The exact name of that foil is Metallic and Holographic 4-pack Variety Pack. Okay. Let's go ahead, now that we've foiled it, and run it through the Platinum 6. Now this paper is gray. I think it's meant to look like concrete. Let's go ahead and reveal. Perfect foiling. All right, now I have a piece of paper that looks like marble. I'm going to use the teal foil. Now that hot foil plate has been getting nice and hot inside my base, I'm going to go ahead and line everything up here on the platinum deck, base, whatever you want to call it, and run it through. And we'll let that cool, and then we'll reveal it. Perfect foiling, looks great. Now I have this foil, it's called Aura, A-U-R-A. It's one of my favorite foils of Spellbinders. It's this beautiful holographic gold, but it has rainbow of colors all through it, as you can see just by looking at it. Unfortunately, my camera stopped rolling and I wasn't able to show you the reveal on camera. This is what the finished card looks like. This is using that Aura, A-U-R-A hot foil from Spellbinders. Isn't it gorgeous? You can see every color of the rainbow in this beautiful hot foil. Switching gears, now I'm going to emboss several of the sentiments from the A Cut Above the Rest sentiment stamp set. This was also designed by Nancy, and Nancy is NancyStamps, and I will link her YouTube channel below in my description box. And Nancy and I are the co-founders of the Foiling Snobs Club, which is a Facebook group, and the group was started to help promote our YouTube channels. And it's just a real fun group of people who are interested in learning about foiling, whether it be toner foiling or hot foiling, but also just like card making and arts and crafts. What I did was I used my Misty to get my paper ready. I used my rabbit hole design embossing powder tool, and I used some copper embossing powder. I'll just go ahead and heat this up. Some of my letters and symbols, I'm just adding a little bit of white space to them with my poke tool. This way I can just clean them up a little bit. And for this last part of my video, I was able to heat emboss several different colors and on several different types of cardstock. This is craft cardstock, and I end up embossing this with like a sparkly gold glitter. I was just trying to think of different papers and embossing powder combinations that would match the foils that I used. Of course, you could just stamp them. You don't have to emboss them. But I picked sentiments that were mostly thank you style, and I do a lot of thank you cards, and I wanted to just get more in my stash so that I'd have them. This is a gold embossing powder with sparkles in it. This collection from NancyStamps will be available on March 10th on the Spellbinders website. I will have everything linked below in the description box below. And I would encourage you to use my affiliate links. The affiliate links don't cost you anything. They just help support my channel. And at the end of this video, I will show you all the cards that I created. Well, most of them. There were a few that I didn't photograph. I'm saving them to make Father's Day cards. I just put a couple of them aside. But I'm sure I will post them on my Instagram in the days leading up to the release date, which is, again, on March the 10th. So make sure you mark your calendars so that you can head on over and get your set of products from NancyStamps. This is a rose gold embossing powder. I think that you'll find that the dyes, the hot foil stamp and the sentiments lend themselves well for many different occasions, and not just for masculine cards. These are great for friends and friendships, and for just letting someone know that you are thankful that they are helping to build you up and empower you and be supportive. There was a little spot on this word appreciate that didn't emboss well, so I'm just using a glue pen and adding a little bit more embossing powder. And then I'll heat that up to melt it. That takes care of any little gap. So thanks so much for watching. Please stay tuned at the end for the photos. I'm going to walk you through the cards that I'm making here. I'm just using a variety of different papers to make my matte layers. I think this is a glitter cardstock, sort of orange color. Definitely sparkly orange. And this foil is done on white cardstock. This foiled panel, that is. And this is usually my process when I make a large batch of cards. I'll just go ahead and get them adhered to the card base with a matte layer. And then I'll go back and add the sentiments. This one is done on pattern paper. Sort of looks like a wood grain background. And I'm just matching up what sentiment I want to add to each one of these. I'll go back and add the sentiments later. I'll just walk you through me putting everything together here. This one I use a brown cardstock that I ran through a wood grain embossing folder. That's the one that has the 2 columns of nails. 2 columns of tools. Sorry, I'm just a little tired. And then this one is that really pretty blush foil. Just reminds me of rose gold. And I actually have a sentiment that says, "Thanks for your help," with rose gold embossing powder. I'll make mats for each one of my embossed sentiments. But in the interest of time, I'll go ahead and speed this up. And you kind of get the picture here of my process. I did not do all this at one setting. I did the hot foiling first. Then I came back another day and did the sentiments. And then I came back another time and did I at least selected what matte layers I would use for each foiled panel. And then came back and did the actual assembly line here that you're seeing me do right now, where I assemble the cards. And then I took photos of all the cards, and from there started to make the voiceover. So it's a multi-step process. At least it is for me anyways. I'm not that fast of a crafter. There might be some of you that can do all this like quickly and within a matter of hours. It just takes me a lot longer. Now this one card that I'm making right here, I'm using that glitter paper with gold, and then This foil is called Speckled Aura from Spellbinders, and I thought it looked really nice with that gold glitter cardstock as a matte layer. And that just goes to show you that these products are for both male and female, and just how you can really bling it up. Now I'm going to show you a slideshow of all the cards that I made. For the most part, there's some that aren't photoed here because I am going to be making Father's Day cards from those. But I really appreciate your watching my video. Please give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment below. What do you think about this new release from NancyStamps? Are you planning on getting that release? And are you excited to share some of these products by making cards for people in your life? If you're new, I would love it if you would subscribe and ring the bell so that you're notified of all my future videos. Don't forget, I'll have everything listed below in the description box. And don't forget to thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching. Have a hopeful day. Bye-bye.